between the second and fourth innings. Coincidentally, so did Toronto's R.A. Dickey just about the same time down in Anaheim. It was the most consecutive strikes thrown by a Dodger pitcher since Chris Capuano, who threw 19 straight 2 years ago. But Kershaw's brilliant 10-strikeout, no-walk performance simply wasn't enough to put the Skids on a 5-game losing streak. After a much-needed day off tonight at the Great American Ballpark, it is up to Alex Wood, who beat the Reds 11 days ago. He is seeking his second win as a Dodger. Coming up next. It's a beautiful night for baseball, and live from the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds in the first of a 3-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, Nomar's covering the Little League World Series. So here we are, 39 games left in the regular season. The Dodger lead over the Giants is a game and a half. They're hosting the Cubs this week. The Dodgers riding a 5-game losing streak, and after the game in Houston on Sunday, Clayton Kershaw said something very interesting. It is either time for this team to panic or show a greater sense of urgency.
And that's the key word, I think, the urgency, and it has to be a team effort. You can't just do it as a starting pitcher. Clayton Kershaw proved that. Zach Greinke proved that. But they're going to have a starting pitcher take them out and do a good job, and that'll be Alex Wood. He has his only Dodger win against these Reds, so he has a good memory. But he's going to need to be supported, and that could be by the second-best defense in the major leagues. Only 54 errors from these Dodgers. They can pick it, and they're going to need to do that the rest of the season. But defense doesn't do it alone. How about some offense? Only 9 runs during these 5-game losing streak. They need to have the bats wake up, and somebody has to finish the game in the ninth. Kenley Jansen has to get back on the beam and start saving games.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, Cincinnati was in the West. So too were the Dodgers. This was a great rivalry for so many years. Dodgers and Reds are coming up next. 39 games left. We'll take a look at the calendar. When we come back, Alana Rizzo will be standing by with that. Of the Ohio River. We are at the Great American Ballpark. It has been in business for 12 years. The Cincinnati Reds, they have been struggling all season long, hosting the Dodgers in the first of this three-game series. And our closed captioning is brought to you by Shumash Casino Resort. We are all about you. So the Dodgers have come hobbling into Cincinnati, having lost 5 in a row, 8 straight on the road, but they still maintain a 1.5 lead on the Giants, who will be hosting the Cubs a little later on. And tonight, it'll be Matt Cain against Jake Arrieta. And here's the starting lineup put together by Don Mattingly through the courtesy of Honda. Jimmy Rollins will be leading it off, and Yasiel Puig with a 7-game hitting streak batting second. Gonzalez and Turner and Van Slyke through the middle of the lineup. Chase Utley at second base, A.J. Ellis behind the plate, Kike Hernandez and his hot hitting in center field, Alex Wood pitching and batting ninth, and 25-year-old John Lamb out of Laguna Hills delivers a strike, and it's 0-1.
John Lamb made his major league debut against the Dodgers, has yet to get a big league win. And Dodger fans might remember in that game that his grandfather is John Ramsey, the public address announcer at Dodger Stadium since 1958 until 1984.
So here is Lamb delivering inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rollins, with Puig and Gonzalez to follow. Lamb deals, and Rollins fouls it off. Cincinnati Reds won a makeup game last night from the Tigers. Scored 10 runs in 1 inning. And it would put an end to a 9-game losing streak. Rollins takes inside and low, and it's 2-2. Dodgers looking to right their ship, and it's been a wobbly one over the past week. 39 games left in the regular season. Line, fair ball into the left field corner. The Dodgers off to a good start. Rollins will arrive at second base with a stand-up double.
Jimmy Rollins continuing to swing a hot bat. Doesn't matter if it's left-handed or right-handed. Gets on top of this cut fastball, trying to make its way inside, but he catches it before it gets in on him and keeps the ball fair. And a nice start for the Dodgers with that double that rattles around in the left field corner.
His 22nd two-base hit of the year for Rollins, and here's Yasiel Puig coming up. Puig, a 7-game hitting streak. Hitting .360 over the past 2 weeks. Gonzalez on deck. And Puig with a line drive to deep left field, way back, and it is off the base of the wall. Here comes Puig to second base. He'll arrive at second. Back-to-back doubles to begin the game, and the Dodgers are off and running. It's 1-0.
Yasiel knew he got it right away, an off-speed pitch, and it was only a matter, is it going to go over the 12-foot wall in left field? Yasiel just looks at it for a while, and fortunately the carom, it's directly to DeJesus, but Yasiel gets right in there to second base with his wheels.
And his 36th double, and his 12th. 36 RBI in his 12th double, and here's Gonzalez fouling it off to the left, and it's 0-1. So Puig extends his hitting streak to 8. Gonzalez has been wobbly lately, down to 288 with 24 home runs and 73 runs batted in. Turner on deck, so one of the things the Dodgers certainly wanted to do, come out against this slumping Cincinnati team and making a statement early, and that's exactly what they've done.
You lose 5 games in a row, you have an off day on the road, and you are just wavering as far as trying to find some winning ways. That quick run, and now Adrian Gonzalez trying to get Yasiel over to third, trying to pull the ball. Maybe they can put a 2 spot on the board.
Adrian Gonzalez in the 5th inning of a week ago Friday's game against Lamb at Dodger Stadium. Got it all. So Adrian now with 24 home runs, 73 runs batted in. So the Dodgers, of course, boy, they struggled in this 5-game road trip, and a fly ball to left field. Retreating is Ivan DeJesus, the one-time Dodger. Defensively behind Lamb tonight, Frazier and Suarez on the left side of the infield. Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto on the right. In the outfield, Jason Bourgeois, as you see in center. Billy Hamilton on the disabled list. He's flanked by DeJesus and Bruce. And Tucker Barnhart is the catcher. This red team now is 52-71, and they're getting beaten about rather easily these days. So the Dodgers looking to make some hay here in Cincinnati after losing the first 5 on the road. Turner at 304 swings and misses, and it's 0-1. The Dodgers on the 5-game road trip outscored 19-9 and out-hit 40-26. Victimized by 2 walk-off losses and a no-hitter. So it's been a painful trip. And here in Cincinnati, they're looking to get it right. The numbers speak for themselves.
The fortunate thing is they've only lost a game on their lead to the Giants. You lose 5 in a row and you only lose 1 game. That's okay. You don't like it? You wish you could pick up some games.
Time called before the throw to second base. Of course, it will come down more than likely the Dodgers and the Giants. A 7-game part of the series beginning next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Dodger Stadium, and then in the last full week of the season, 4 up at AT&T Park. Don't look now, but the Diamondbacks and the Padres are creeping back into things. Arizona's 5.5 behind the Dodgers. San Diego 6.5 off the pace. Arizona's won 6 of 10. San Diego's won 7 of 10.
The 1.5 game lead on the Giants, the half a game is in the Dodgers' hands. They've played 1 less game than the Giants. Watch this foul ball, Justin Turner. Lamb throws about a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. He has a straight one, and then he throws a cutter around 87. That was the 4-seamer in.
Van Slyke on deck. Been a long year for Cincinnati, and they've got a boatload on the disabled list. Turner down on strikes. Second out of the first.
The Cincinnati Red team, Lamb on the mound, came over in the Johnny Cueto trade. They got 3 young pitchers in that trade for Johnny Cueto. We watched that good fastball up and in, the same place that he tried to sneak it by him, and Justin Turner fouled it off. That time got it by him.
So here's Van Slyke stepping in with the lefty Lamb starting. Ethier and Crawford watching tonight. Low and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Van Slyke has been struggling. Takes a strike, and it's 1-1. "39 games left in the regular season. The Dodgers 11 games over 500. This time last year they were 70-53. At the moment, 67-56. Don Mattingly, bench coach Tim Wallach. Back-to-back doubles for Rollins and Puig have given the Dodgers the early lead here in the first.
Van Slyke has been struggling, but this is a ballpark with his long fly balls that he can hit off of lefties, you can get healthy in a hurry. You have your heart in your stomach as a pitcher when you give up a fly ball in this ballpark.
Low and outside.
It's not the easiest place in the world to break in young pitchers when you have such a good offensive park. Scott Van Slyke has enjoyed his time here at the Great American Park. 3 for 6, you see, with the 2 home runs.
3-1. Lamb at the belt. Delivers a strike. 3-2.
He's tried to pitch him away a couple times, not gotten the call. He went right back out there to the corner and dotted it.
Fastball, and now it's full. Lined off to the right and out of play. Well, one of the things about the Dodgers this year, they have been spoiled, averaging almost 48,000 per performance at home. Well, euphemistically speaking, here at the Great American Ballpark tonight, plenty of good seats still available. Dodgers took 3 of 4 from the Reds a couple of weeks back at Dodger Stadium. And Van Slyke takes a walk.
Good thing. We've been talking about this with the Dodgers through their offensive slump, that they were not willing to pass the baton. Scott Van Slyke right there, not hitting for himself, passing the baton to Chase Utley.
So Utley is making his 4th appearance with the Dodgers. Batted 2nd on Sunday. He is batting 6th. Here in the first of this 3-game set. Last year, the Dodgers 4-3 against the Reds. Even the 4-game series here. So Utley with 2 on and 2 out takes a strike. It is 0-1. On the year, bad ankle, disabled list, just 76 games for Utley. 214 overall, 5 home runs, 30 runs batted in. His 2 hits with the Dodgers have been doubles. Plays off the breaking ball. John Lamb, 6'4", 205. Turned 25 last month. Utley lays off, 2-1.
Utley has looked very comfortable in the box since becoming a Dodgers. Hit the ball hard, not always gotten a hit to show for it, but everything I see, he looks healthy and he looks locked in.
He's run well. Meanwhile, John Lamb is already at 27 pitches.
It seems like his fastball in that he's been trying to throw to the righties, he's getting fouled off an awful lot, and he's been missing away. He's either building the count with balls or not being able to get the ball by the hitter.
Out of play. A.J. Ellis is on deck. Lamb graduated from Laguna Hills High in 2008.
He was born in La Palma.
First and second, 2 out. The 2-2 pitch. Sliced foul and out of play.
If anything, they're going to make sure they see the Reds bullpen tonight with that pitch count at 29.
And the Reds bullpen has struggled this year. Everything about the Reds has struggled this year. 3 games under 500 at home. And Utley down on strikes, and that will end the inning. But back-to-back doubles in the top half of the first for Rollins, and the RBI two-base hit for Puig has given Alex Wood a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first. Honda. Jason Bourgeois is leading off in center field. Billy Hamilton on the DL. Eugenio Suarez had a good series against the Dodgers last week at Dodger Stadium. Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and Todd Frazier, followed by Jay Bruce. Ivan DeJesus in left. Tucker Barnhart is the catcher. John Lamb pitching and batting ninth. And here's Wood making his fifth start with the Dodgers.
Yeah, looking for his second win as a Dodger, beat these Reds, and trying to get his ERA down, be a little bit more consistent. His last outing, he gave up a run in the first and then two in the sixth, and didn't feel real good about the results, but he is real close to catching fire.
Now Bourgeois, the speedster, takes inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Wood has given up at least 3 runs in each of his first 4 starts with the Dodgers and is grounded foul. Past third base coach Jim Riggleman. Billy Hatcher is the first base coach for Cincinnati. Outside. Alex Wood, 6'4", 215, out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Dodgers picked him up from Atlanta. Up the middle, past a diving Rollins. Bourgeois is aboard. Defensively tonight for the Dodgers, behind Wood, Justin Turner at third, Rollins at short. Utley and Gonzalez on the right side of the infield. It'll be Scott Van Slyke in left, Kike Hernandez in center field, Puig in right, and A.J. Ellis is behind the plate. Bourgeois is a very fast runner, and the Reds have stolen 113 bases this year.
Billy Hamilton on the DL. They still have a speedster at the top of the order.
Suarez, 9 home runs, 35 runs batted in, hit one against the Dodgers when the Reds were in Dodger Stadium. Ellis has thrown 7 of 25 would-be base stealers out, 28%. Well, the Reds have stolen more than anybody, and the Dodgers have stolen fewer than anybody. That's a fastball up and in, tangled up Suarez, and it's 1-2.
Alex Wood, very adept at getting a double play ball, gives up a lot of grounders. He's actually, since his debut in 2013, is 5th in baseball. 1 double play a game.
Turner, Utley, and another double play. So Alex Wood doing what he does so well in a 5-4-3. Double play, quickly 2 out.
Suarez has a tough time getting out of the box because he's jammed, and Justin Turner does an amazing job getting rid of this ball very quickly. Had to go to his right plant, and then Chase Utley, it barely touches his glove when he makes the turn. He knows the runner's bearing down on him, and you see him get hit, but he's able to release the ball accurately to Adrian Gonzalez and turn that 2.
So quickly 2 out and nobody on, and here's Joey Votto. Been among the hottest hitters in the game lately. Since the All-Star break, hitting .393 with an on-base percentage of .567. Has had quite a turnaround this year. Boy, did he struggle last season.
He should be the batter in the Reds lineup that you're not going to let beat you. He is the hot one for sure. Brandon Phillips behind him, of course, is right-handed, but Joey Votto, when he is locked in, he can hit anybody.
A .446 on base percentage. .103 walks this year for Votto. 3rd time in his career he's had at least 100 walks in a season. And there he goes. Now Brandon Phillips coming up. Phillips at .286 with 10 home runs and 48 runs batted in.
You have to watch out in these situations. You just walk Votto, which happens a lot, and Brandon Phillips come up behind. He loves to jump on a first pitch fastball knowing you're trying to finally get a strike.
Inside and low, 1 ball, no strikes to Phillips, with Todd Frazier on deck. Dodgers on back-to-back doubles by Rollins and Puig in the top of the first, lead at 1-0. So Wood lets up, and Phillips is way out in front.
You can see Brandon is looking to hop on a fastball. The first pitch was inside so far. He couldn't swing, but he wanted to. That one looking like it's out over the plate. Got him on the speed.
Inside. Phillips originally drafted by the Montreal Expos in 1999. Then he was on to Cleveland, and from Cleveland to Cincinnati. Takes outside.
Wow, that was a real good pitch. I saw John Lamb get a call like this. That looked like it was right there.
Corey Blazer is calling balls and strikes tonight. Vacation reliever out of Denver. On 3-1. Once again, Wood pulls the string, and Phillips is way out in front.
Doing a great job here throwing the changeup in fastball counts. Phillips guessing fastball, sees the ball, thinks it's going to be the hard velocity. Alex Wood doing a great job spinning the ball away from him.
So Votto will be off and running. Full count, 2 out. There he goes. Here it comes. Ground ball to short. Rollins will throw out Phillips, and that'll do it. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 1 man left. 1-0 Dodgers as we go to the second. By the 2015 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 31 highway MPG. It's the perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com today. It'll be A.J. Ellis, Kike Hernandez, and Alex Wood to bat for the Dodgers here in the second inning. Gorgeous 70 degrees at game time. Boy, this time of year can be hot, humid, and miserable. Instead, tonight there's a hint of early fall in the air. Ellis at 227, 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Yasmani Grandal on that left shoulder continues to be an issue, so he's sitting it out again. Ellis was 2 for 4 on Sunday as he takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Game before that, he was 1 for 1 with 4 walks. It's legitimately hot. He's feeling very frisky and confident at the plate.
And he takes another walk. Yasiel Puig, who was leading off second base a good portion of the first inning, getting a little tutorial between innings from Davey Lopes.
And working on his secondary leads, saying when he picks that leg up, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get out there, and then you want to land on your right foot when the ball gets into the hitting area. If it bounces or gets hit, you can break on time, and you've got the right distance away from second base.
So meanwhile, John Lamb having difficulty finding the plate. 30 pitches in the first inning. Walks the first batter in the second and falls behind Kike Hernandez. Again, the Dodgers could care less about the problems of the Reds. They've got their own issues to take care of. And here's Hernandez taking a strike. 1-1.
And no matter who's on the mound, a rookie, a veteran, an outstanding pitcher that's won a Cy Young, or whoever, the Dodgers right now are definitely caring about themselves and getting their confidence back, their production back.
Kike celebrated his 24th birthday on his off day here in Cincinnati yesterday. Alex Wood on deck. The outfield straightaway for Hernandez. 6 home runs, 18 runs batted in. He was 8 for 17 in the 4-game series against the Reds at Dodger Stadium. And Hernandez, since the All-Star break, hitting .344. So he has taken over the job in center field from Jock Peterson. 3-1. And he pops it foul. Barnhart will run out of room. Got 7-8 rows back.
Kike Hernandez has really forced the hand of Don Mattingly and the front office to really get him more at bats. And Jock Peterson's slump, even though he made the All-Star team, was in the home run derby. Kike Hernandez has taken over in center field, kind of like Justin Turner forced the hand to move Juan Uribe.
Kike .344 since the All-Star break. Jock Peterson .163. So it's 3-2 with nobody out in the second inning. A.J. Ellis at first. He's not even attempted a stolen base this year. And he's got maybe a 3-foot lead at first. Which raises the question, why even bother throwing over?
You know, sometimes you might just go over there as a left-hander because I'm using my high leg kick because you're really slow. And you might just get in the back of your mind, I'll never come over and move on first move. But even if AJ went on first move, and I know he wouldn't, I don't think he would make it. What I mean by first move is you do not read the pitcher's leg kick to see if he's going home or coming to first. Just as soon as he twitches at all and lifts his leg, you are breaking for second, and you're saying, I'm going to steal this on you delivering the ball home, or even if you come to first, I'll steal it on the first baseman and his throw.
The 8th pitch of this at-bat, and it's a fly ball into center field. Back goes Phillips. In comes Bruce. Bourgeois in center. His first instinct was to take a couple of steps out. And so it was, in fact, Bruce who made the catch. First out of the second. And it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SNLA Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. So by the early returns, the shelf life for John Lamb will not be a long one tonight. His 44th pitch. And he's just got one out into the second inning. Wood has been into the batter's box 40 times. You saw the 5 sacrifices. He's also been struck out 24 of his 40 at-bats. Looking at Ron Renicky flash the signs from the third base coaching box. With Rollins on deck and the Dodgers leading 1-0. Wood bunts it foul.
He went after that ball right there when he went to bunt, and he took the bat down instead of bending his knees to get the ball. Get the bat down where the ball is, so then you keep the bat level. I prefer that you flex your knees and then drop them, not the bat head.
Well, he gets the job done. Barnhart throws to first with Phillips covering. Ellis goes to second with 2 out. It'll bring up Jimmy Rollins.
Take a look at the mechanics right here. See the bat head's up. The ball was up in itself, so he didn't have to really move it or lower the barrel of the bat. Able to bunt it out front. Nice 15 feet out there. Deaden it. It's a nice job right there.
So Wood gets the job done. His 6th sacrifice of the year. That brings up Jimmy Rollins. Coming into the game, the Dodgers were 2 for 26 with runners in scoring position on the trip. 0 for 9 on Sunday. But after the leadoff double by Rollins and Puig's double, they got one in with runners in scoring position, and that's line foul. So Rollins locked in tonight.
Hit a fastball down in the left field corner to lead off the game, and right there they come change up and just out a little in front. Jimmy will make an adjustment, I'm sure. Turn the field.
Rollins took the collar in 5 at-bats on Sunday. It takes inside 1-1. The 1-1 is a fly ball to left field. De Jesus going back. So is Bourgeois, and he tracks it down. Well, those two fellas don't play out there very often with one another. There seemed to be a communication gap. Bourgeois makes the play. No runs, no hits, a walk and a man left. No score. We go to the bottom of the second.
Cincinnati Reds, you may not think immediately of a rival. However, it didn't always used to be that way back when these two teams were in the same division. In fact, it went head-to-head several times so far in the past. Certainly not this year, of course, but take a look at this. From 1970 to 1990, either the Dodgers or the Reds won the National League West 14 of those 21 years and 8 straight from 72 to 79. And how about the players in this rivalry, guys? The Garveys of the world. Davey Lopes, who, of course, is still with the club. Sutton, Bench, Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, etc., etc., etc. The big red machine for Cincinnati and some great Dodgers clubs as well.
Boy, you want a winning streak. The Cincinnati Red Stockings had a 130-game winning streak come to an end on June 14th, 1870 by the Brooklyn Atlantics. 8-7 in extra innings. 130 straight.
It was not only a rivalry on the field, but a rivalry of the managers. The great Sparky Anderson and the great Tommy Lasorda. Both larger than life.
Back when Atlanta and Cincinnati was in the West.
Atlanta was in the West.
Mm-hmm. Cincinnati was in the West. With a big red machine.
Houston was in the West.
Yep.
They're creeping closer. Now they're in the American League.
And in the American League West. Drilled into the left field corner. Todd Frazier, the All-Star, will arrive at second base with his league-leading 37th double.
Well, maybe he's starting to heat up. He has been really cold since the All-Star break. And remember, he beat Jock Peterson in the home run hitting contest, and a lot of people believe in that curse. And he has been cold since that contest.
So the tying run in scoring position as Jay Bruce steps in. Bruce at 235, 18 home runs and 69 runs batted in. Dodgers a 1-0 lead. And Bruce swings and misses. Wood has been exceptionally good with that off-speed pitch tonight.
His changeup and his curveball are his best two pitches. He doesn't have an overpowering fastball. But when it comes to the off-speed pitch and having an idea of what the hitter is looking for, very, very good.
Jay Bruce, especially in this ballpark, a power hitting threat. Wood has given up 2 home runs since coming to the Dodgers. A very close play at second base as Rollins tries to come in on the blind side.
Getting back into second right here. Frazier creeping out there. Jimmy Rollins doing a nice job sneaking in behind him. We talked about Frazier hot or cold since the All-Star break. Post All-Star break, he's only hitting .204. That's in 35 games and only 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. Before the All-Star break, when that home run hitting contest was about to start, 25 home runs, 57 RBIs.
So the 2 finalists in the home run derby here at this ballpark have really struggled the second half of the season. Peterson with the Dodgers and Frazier, who's standing out at second base now. Pre and post. And Peterson's hit 163 since the All-Star break. 0-2 to Jay Bruce. Big breaking ball, and that's been Wood's A material tonight. That's the first strikeout of the ball game.
He has a tendency to change the angle of the break depending on what he's looking for. This one, you see how flat it is and how wide the ball breaks. So that's the chase breaking ball angle to lefties. If that was a right-handed hitter and he was trying to go down and in, he might use something like that. And then if he's just trying to get a strike to a right, he's going to change the angle, get more over the top, not have it be so flat.
Ivan DeJesus stepping in. DeJesus came up in the Dodger organization, a second-round pick 10 years ago. And from the Dodgers, briefly to the Red Sox organization. Signed as a minor league free agent over the winter in Cincinnati. Frazier leading from second base. And a fastball for a strike paints the outside corner, 1-1.
Strike zone has been bouncing around back there. We take a look right here, and this ball is right on the edge, gets the call. It's been the low borderline strike that's been the one that's about 50-50.
Dodgers 1-0. DeJesus laid on a fastball, 1-2. So 89's about as fast as it's been so far tonight. But it's been that 81-mile-an-hour breaking ball that has had the Reds a bit off balance. On 1-2. Fastball inside.
The thing you'll see also tonight, he has very good location. A.J. Ellis rarely having to move his glove. Even when he throws a ball, he's in the right area, the right quadrant. Right there, they wanted to come up and in. And he hit his spot.
28-year-old Ivan DeJesus Jr. takes inside and low, and that makes the count full.
Little reverse shift employed by A.J. Ellis there, giving the sign, setting up inside, and then as Alex starts his motion creeping back away with a man on second base, you don't want to do that too early, and sometimes you want to reverse shift so they can't give the signals out there for location.
On 3-2. Outside ball 4. Second walk given up by Wood.
Alex a little disgusted with himself with that 3-2 changeup, looking for something more down the middle and fool the hitter with the speed, not try to hit the corner.
Here's Tucker Barnhart. Devin Mesoraco out for the year. Barnhart getting a lot of time behind the plate. He and the veteran Brian Pena. First and second, one out. In almost 25 innings since coming to the Dodgers, Wood has walked 13 and struck out 18.
His walks are always going to be a little elevated because he doesn't have great stuff to battle back into the count. So a lot of times he will rather not give in and get the next guy.
One hop to Rollins, to Utley. How many times have they done that? Barnhart bounces into an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. When we come back for the third, it'll be Yasiel Puig, Gonzalez, and Turner. Dodgers 1-0. your tickets today and show up to the stadium wearing your Dodger blue. To purchase, visit Dodgers.com/tickets. But much work to be done by the Dodgers before they entertain the Giants. 3 here in Cincinnati tomorrow night, and then a Thursday matinee right after the game. The Dodgers fly home. The Cubs are in town over the weekend. The Sunday game is the ESPN game, so that one will start at 5 at Dodger Stadium, and then the Giants are in. 7 games remain between the Dodgers and Giants, and including tonight, the Dodgers have 39 games left. Here's Puig with his double in the first inning, knocking in Rollins. Extends his hitting streak to 8 games. Gonzalez and Turner to follow, and Puig takes inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. So Puig's bat is beginning to heat up. Fouls it off to the right, and it's 1-1. After Jimmy Rollins led off the game with a double to left, Puig did the same. Off the base of the wall, his 36th run batted into the season. Inside.
It took him a few days to get used to the new stance, but as he's gotten used to the new stance of having his front foot more open, his hips more open, he's been able to cover that inside pitch where the league was pitching him. And he's also been able to stay on the ball away. It's getting better, more comfortable, the things that Mark McGwire has taught him.
Just a slight alteration to the front foot, opening up the stance ever so slightly, and having both eyes trained on the pitcher and, more importantly, the release point. Fouls it into the glove of Barnhart. 3rd strikeout for Lamb, and it's the first out of the 3rd.
There's a little cutter in there, and the thing that's happened with Yasiel is he's more confident that he can get to those pitches, but you see that pitch is in off the plate. There's not a lot of hitters in the world that'll get to that, so that was a little bit more of 2 strikes and pitch selection, pitch recognition, than it was the mechanics.
Well, 3 years ago today, Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford, Josh Beckett, and Nick Punto were traded to the Dodgers from the Red Sox 3 years ago today. In the first inning of his first game at Dodger Stadium, Gonzalez hit a 3-run home run. Since his arrival with the Dodgers 3 years ago today, Gonzalez has 311 RBIs, more than any other hitter in the National League.
It's a nice trade by Mr. Coletti.
Well, Beckett, of course, would pitch a no-hitter last year. Little number foul. Punto and Skip Schumacher now in the Reds dugout. Made a terrific 1-2 punch coming off the bench. There's Skippy.
It's a big tip of the hat to new ownership to go out and get players like that. They were saying thank you, and Dodger fans were here.
Into right center field. That's well hit, and that's going to roll to the wall. And Adrian Gonzalez will arrive at second base with his 28th double of the year.
Couple of walks and now 3 doubles, and Adrian Gonzalez the 3rd one. Jimmy Rollins, Yasiel Puig, and now this pretty swing, left on left situation. Front shoulder stays in and just drives that ball. Fastball away that Adrian barrels up into the gap. Very easy for him to cruise into second on that one.
So there's Gonzalez at second. The Dodgers with a 1-0 lead as Justin Turner steps in. Struck out swinging in his first at-bat. And takes inside and low, 1 ball and no strike. Turner in a bit of a tailspin. He is 1 for 22 in his last 6 games. Fly ball to left. DeJesus going back. He's at the wall. He looks up and it's gone. A home run. Justin Turner's 6th home run of the year. And the Dodgers take a 3-0 lead. This is an easy ballpark in which to hit home runs. And so Turner capitalizes and the Dodgers lead by 3.
This is what you have to watch out with every time you have a curveball or a changeup called, because it gets the hitter out in front and it becomes a fly ball. And in this ballpark, it carries so very well. And even over the 12-foot wall there in left field, caught by a Reds fan, but here they don't throw him back.
Van Slyke is the hitter. No balls and a strike. The Great American Ballpark is just 325 feet down the left field line. Power Alley is 379. 393 straightaway center, 404 slightly to right center, and 3 1/4 down the right field line. We're right on the banks of the Ohio River, and the ball travels here. Bandbox dimensions, the weather is perfect for hitters.
Yeah, the hotter the hot humidity in this city that it gets, and then when it cools off here, like say these early fall days, the breeze blows out.
Van Slyke down on strikes. That's the 4th strikeout for Lamb and the 2nd out of the 3rd.
It's part of the learning curve for a young pitcher like Lamb on the mound, that when he throws his changeup and he's expecting the hitter to swing, he's going to want to keep it down and have him hit the top of the ball. That one where you get him out front and you hit the routine fly ball is not going to work in this ballpark. It might work on the road, but it's not going to work at home.
Chase Utley takes a strike and is 0-1. Utley a strikeout victim in his first at bat. Chase 2 for 14 since coming to the Dodgers. And for Utley, this is his 4th game.
From the Dodger bench, you could hear someone yell, "Little down there." And when you're sitting on the bench, the only place you can legitimately argue the umpire, the home plate umpire, is high and low. Because from that angle, you definitely can't see home plate and get the inside and the outside corners. But you will hear a lot of chirping from big league dugouts on heights of pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 in here in the 3rd. Utley down on strikes, 5th strikeout for Lamb. Off-speed breaking ball. So Justin Turner, who had been slumping until his 2-run shot here in the 3rd inning, has given the Dodgers a 3-0 lead as we go to the bottom half of the 3rd. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. And by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry. John Lamb will lead it off following the Justin Turner home run. The Dodgers a 3-0 lead. Lamb, as he throws, bats from the left side, takes a strike, 0-1. 0 for 4 in his big league career and has been struck out 3 times. Local product, went to Laguna Hills High School. Oral mentioned that his grandfather, the late John Ramsey, one of the quintessential public address announcer voices, certainly in Southern California, around sports. Big, deep voice. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swung on and missed strike 3. So Wood now with 2 strikeouts, and that's the first out of the 3rd.
Things you dream about as a little boy when you're going to make it to the big leagues, your first baseball card, and then the first time you hear the PA announcer announce you as a big leaguer in a big league stadium. And pleasure for me to listen to John say my name getting to Dodger Stadium.
John Ramsey's voice was the quintessential PA announcer's voice on the West Coast, as Bob Shepard's was on the East Coast at Yankee Stadium for so many years. Jason Bourgeois singled into center field in his first at-bat, taking over for the injured Billy Hamilton. Hamilton sidelined with a bad shoulder. The 0-2. Grounded to second base and right at Chase Utley. First out, make it the second out of the 3rd.
Alex Wood has not had one of those outings yet as a Dodger, but he really had quite a few with the Atlanta Braves. His ERA was a touch over 5 as a Dodger. When he was a Brave and we traded for him, was around 3.5. And he'll be looking to really finish this one off in a good way. His last outing gave up 1 in the 1st and then 2 in the 6th, and had to satisfy for a slightly bad taste in his mouth. I know he's probably thinking about it out there right now, that he's on a roll and he wants to stay on a roll.
Suarez bounced into a double play in his first at bat. A ball and a strike.
A couple of double play balls. Suarez and Barnhart have really helped Alex Wood.
Lined into the glove of Turner. Didn't have to barely move a muscle. A 1-2-3 inning for Wood, his first. Will go to the 4th, with the Dodgers leading 3-0.
involved in 3 defensive plays so far in this ball game. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the prognosis of Howie Kendrick. Don Mattingly saying earlier today that Howie Kendrick is making great progress, and he should be able to go out on a rehab assignment in about a week or so. And guys, also a quick note, Matt Latos will not pitch out of the pen in this series. He's in Arizona prepping for a Saturday start.
So Latos will start at Dodger Stadium against the Cubs. And Latos, who did not leave Cincinnati on the best of terms, coincidentally and conveniently not here. He is in Arizona, and he'll pitch against the Cubs on Saturday. A.J. Ellis walked in his first at-bat. So it'll be Ellis, Kike Hernandez, and Alex Wood. Dodgers 3 runs and 4 base hits. No balls and 2 strikes to Ellis. Brandall and his left shoulder still barking. Look at him. Another one of those screaming line drives, and boy, that's going to be a source of conversation in the offseason about protective netting behind the dugouts. Another fan got hit the other day. One and 2 to Ellis. 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Skies it into the right field corner, and Bruce is there. That's the first out of the 4th inning. Kike Hernandez coming up. Hernandez flied to right in his first at-bat. Dodgers with a run in the first, back-to-back doubles for Rollins and Puig. And a 2-run home run for Turner in the 3rd. 1 ball, no strikes with 1 out in the 4th. Off the glove of Votto into right field for a base hit. Talk about getting handcuffed.
Joey Votto was playing in like Kike Hernandez might push bunt over there. I haven't seen Kike Hernandez push bunt since I've seen him play. I don't know why the Reds thought he might be bunting, but maybe you play him in at 3rd, but they're playing him in at 1st and back at 3rd. It's a very odd defense for 1 out, nobody on, and the 8th hitter up.
And Alex Wood is sacrificed in his first at-bat. His 6th of the year, will be called upon to do the same here. No balls and a strike. So 6 sacrifices on the year, and in 40 at-bats, he's been struck out 24 times. Takes it down and away. The Yankees are seeing what the Houston Astros are all about. First inning in the Bronx tonight. Houston 5-0. They are no flash in the pan.
That team plays with a lot of energy.
And a lot of talent.
Yes.
They're no longer just a feel-good story. They're a really good team.
Well, if the talent shows up and they get all those home runs like they have, and then all of a sudden that youthful talent with power all of a sudden learns a little discipline, they can only get better offensively.
Now the 2-1. Wood swinging away. 2-2.
Make Todd Frazier think a little bit about charging as hard as he's been charging. He has been starting at about the 45-foot line, if there was one, down the 3rd baseline, and then creeping closer. But Alex Wood said enough of that. Pull it back and try and butcher boy you.
Now on 2-2. Wood breaks his bat.
Usually it's when you swing the bat, you break your bat and get jammed, but Alex broke it out of frustration right there. When you have 2 strikes and you're still bunting as a pitcher, you're really trying to bunt back right to the mound, keep the ball fair, and Alex reached a little bit, Side spinned it off down the first baseline and then busted the bat in frustration.
Now with 2 out. Jimmy Rollins, a double, a run scored. He flied to center. The Dodgers 3-0 with 2 out in the top of the 4th. Rollins is 4 for his last 24. Hernandez, good speed, leading off first. Hasn't stolen a base this year. But with 2 out, and if this count gets deeper, get a couple of strikes on Rollins. It's a pretty good bet.
He might try and go like on first move if he can pick the right leg kick. But right now, when A.J. Ellis was over there, John Lamb would go with the full leg kick and actually let A.J. try and read it. Well, right now with Kike over there, he's shortening up.
Kike turned 24 yesterday. So now it's 3 balls and no strikes. And the pitch count is going to get Lamb out of this game early. 87 already in 3 2/3. Three and 1. Yasiel Puig on deck. Tomorrow it's going to be Brett Anderson and David Holmberg. Thursday matinee, Zach Greinke and Anthony DeSclafani. And that is the 3rd walk given up by Lamb. Dodgers have first and second, 2 out, and Puig coming up.
Now, the pitch count at 89 is not just built from the 3 walks. I mean, that's only possibly 12 pitches, but a lot of foul balls, a lot of deep counts. Right now, the Dodgers, even though there's 2 outs, Yasiel's swinging such a good bat that they could break this game way open.
Puig doubled in a run in his first at bat, extending his hitting streak to 8 games. And then he was struck out. He fouls it off to the right, 0-1. So Puig slowly but surely getting his batting average up. Hitting .360 over the past couple of weeks. No balls and a strike. Into left. That's DeJesus, who's off the end of the bat, and that's that. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 left. And after 3.5, the Dodgers 3-0. And on Sunday, the first 40,000 fans in attendance receive a pair of Dodger headphones presented by Lexus. For tickets, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. So Alex Wood and the Dodgers have a 3-run lead to work with as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and Todd Frazier will hit. Wood to this point has given up no runs and 2 hits. He has struck out 2 and walked 2. Votto walked in his first at-bat.
Alex needs to refocus his sights right here to his main cause tonight, which is pitching. A little frustrated in his at-bat, didn't get the bunt down, broke his bat. He's got to forget about that and get some outs.
And Votto's awfully tough these days. Votto has a .446 on base percentage. His walk was his 104th of the season, more than anybody else in the National League. Wood falls behind 3-0.
Pretty much a guarantee that Joey Votto will take right here.
3-1.
At times during his career has been accused for taking walks when there's runners in scoring position or a man on first and only down by 2. He continues to ascribe to the theory that on base percentage is sometimes more important than maybe stretching your strike zone and swinging at bad pitches. Whereas old school thinkers will think about, you stretch the strike zone a little bit, take the risk to try and drive the run in for your team, even though it's easier to make an out.
Second time Votto has walked tonight, the 3rd walk given up by Wood as we begin the bottom half of the 4th.
Not the way you want to start out if you're Alex Wood. You're up 3-0. You got Votto up there who's got a great eye, and you really just want to attack him. If he hits the ball to the ballpark, it's 3-1. You don't want to build an inning. And now you put your defense on the heels because now Adrian Gonzalez has to go over there and cover first base, so it's a little easier to get ground balls through the infield.
Brandon Phillips bounced to short in his first at-bat. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers, no runs and 2 for the Reds, and that off-speed breaking ball has really had Phillips off balance. He would eventually bounce to short in his first at-bat, but he was way out in front.
Notorious first ball swinger after a walk. They pulled the string early on him.
Has to get out of the way. It's 1-1.
Hard in, soft away. Looks like the theory right now with Brandon Phillips. Alex Wood looking for a double play. He set the table for that.
So the Dodgers 3-0. The Giants host the Cubs later. Phillips to right and deep. Puig is at the wall, and he'll make the catch. And now the big arm, and Votto has to quickly retreat to first.
Yasiel Puig finding his way to the wall, didn't need the warning track, and Joey Votto with Yasiel's arm. Not every big leaguer throws behind the runner at first, but with Yasiel's big arm, he decides to give it a shot. Was it in Yasiel's first big league game that he doubled a runner off at first to end the game?
Mm-hmm. June 3rd, couple of years back. Call strike, 0-1 to Frazier, who doubled in his first at-bat. Todd Frazier, a Little League World Series champion. First round pick of the Reds in 2007.
The players get here at anywhere from 1:30 in the afternoon till about 3:30 in the afternoon to the ballpark during the Little League World Series. That's what's on almost every TV until they start putting up the pitching scouting videos.
Frazier leads the league with 37 doubles. Fouls it back. And it's 1-2. In 1998, 17 years ago, Todd Frazier was part of the Toms River, New Jersey Little League World Series championship team.
That's got to be quite a memory for him, even to this day.
Now, if memory serves, years ago, the very first Little Leaguer, not Little League World Series champion, the first Little Leaguer to make it to the major leagues was a right-handed pitcher who pitched for the Reds named Joey J. That was a really big deal. First guy to come out of the Little League to make it to the majors. Long before the series of Little League and all the extensive coverage that it gets now. On 2-2. And I think Joey J pitched in the World Series in '62.
Well, we have a whole generation of kids now growing up that want to play in the Little League World Series and want to play on TV. The controversy of putting kids on TV has kind of died down now that the kids are all seeing that as a goal, not as something to be scared about.
Well, it creates interesting conversation, if not debate. You know, are 12-year-old kids ready for national exposure? And the question is, well, they've grown up. It's a whole new world where everything's on TV now.
They put themselves on TV with all the selfies and videos they send to their friends.
That's where the world has changed. So it's 3-2 to Frazier with one out, and Jay Bruce on deck. For Frazier, this will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. And that's a call, strike 3. Fastball up and in, the 3rd strikeout for Wood and the 2nd out of the inning.
If you go up and in right to the corner, you probably don't get the call, but when you go up and then you just go right to the edge, boy, that was an outstanding pitch. Been going slow curveballs and change up away and fastballs in, and that one right there.
Jay Bruce, a strikeout victim in his first at bat. He's inside, 1 ball, no strikes. 3 runs and 5 hits for the Dodgers. A Puig double knocking in Rollins in the first, and a 2-run home run for Turner in the 3rd. So Wood has scattered a couple of hits to this point. Bruce way out in front.
Fastball in, first pitch. Remember, he got Bruce on a sweeping curveball wide that Bruce swung at. Came back with a good curveball for a strike right there.
At 79 miles an hour. And a fastball at 89 miles an hour, 1-2.
Get a left-handed batter as a left-handed pitcher to swing at a curveball. The batter in the back of his mind is thinking, all right, make him sure he gets it up and he throws it at me. He throws it away, it's a ball. Well, that was a way fastball, though.
Popped up, left side. Jimmy Rollins is there, and that's going to do it. No runs, no hits, a leadoff walk. We'll go to the 5th. Wood and the Dodgers, 3-0. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Justin Turner bobblehead presented by Security Benefit. For tickets, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Gonzalez, the aforementioned Turner, and Scott Van Slyke to bat in the 5th inning against John Lamb, who has thrown 91 pitches through the first 4 innings. Gonzalez has doubled and scored a run tonight. Lamb threw 19 pitches in the 4th inning, and that was the fewest of any of the first 4 innings. Missing up and in, 1 ball and no strikes.
This being his 3rd big league start, has thrown 112 and 99 in his other starts. One was against the Dodgers, one was against the Diamondbacks.
Against the Dodgers in 6 innings, 99 pitches, 5 runs, and 8 base hits. And Gonzalez gets aboard to begin the 5th.
Fastball in. Adrian just can't get out of the way. It's him in the elbow. Look at Lamb's workload, the 112 against Arizona in his last start. Going over his minor league numbers, the most he threw in the minors this year was 103. So 112 big league pitches compared to 103 in the minors. It's a lot more strenuous up here. He's definitely doing it in a more compacted time. Only gone 6 and 5 1/3 here, where in the minors he had gone as deep as 7.
Turner, 1 ball, no strikes. Now it's 1-1. Now with 15 home runs and 51 runs batted in, Justin Turner. Two balls and a strike. Into right, but Bruce is there. And that's the first out of the 5th. Now Van Slyke coming up. Van Slyke is struck out and walked. Astros now 7-0 over the Yankees in the 5th in the Bronx. The Angels 6-4 over the Tigers in Detroit. They're playing that one in the 4th. Van Slyke takes a strike. And later on, Cubs and Giants at AT&T Park. Jake Arrieta 15-6 at a 2.30 ERA. Facing Matt Cain, who's 2-3 and an ERA of 5 2/3.
Fastball away, right on the edge.
0-2 to Van Slyke. Blocked nicely by Barnhart.
.101 in 4 1/3 for John Lamb. That is a lot of work. See the inning by inning.
Got off to a sluggish start. And there is Votto. Ryan Matthews beginning to warm up in the Cincinnati bullpen. There he is. Lamb is due to bat 3rd in the bottom of the 5th. So in all likelihood, this is his last inning. Chase Utley has been struck out twice by Lamb tonight. Chase 2 for 15 with the Dodgers. Couple of doubles, takes a strike, 0-1. A.J. Ellis on deck. Breaking ball to jelly legs. Utley, and it's 0-2.
It's a big breaker. Both left-handed starters going about their business approximately the same way, with the big curve balls, the changeup, and trying to pitch their fastballs inside to righties.
Utley on 0-2, takes outside. One ball, 2 strikes, and 2 out of the top half of the 5th. John Lamb set at the belt. Here's the pitch outside. 2-2. So Lamb to this point has struck out 6. He's walked 3. And his 107th pitch upcoming. Gonzalez with the short lead. Utley fouls it back. So Utley and Rollins reunited. Second most number of games for a second base shortstop combination in history. Trammell and Whitaker just ahead of him. And a ground ball to third. That's Frazier picking it up and throwing him out, and that's the end of the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Alex Wood and the Dodgers, 3-0.
Of the 5th inning. Chase Utley, of course, spending the better part of 12 seasons as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. Just 3 games here so far as a Dodger. 2 teams going in very different directions. He finds himself here, but he certainly has appreciated what the city of Philadelphia has done for him. Chase took out a full-page ad in 2 different publications, the Philadelphia Daily News and the Philadelphia Inquirer. And in part, it said, "Thank you, Philadelphia, for taking me under your wing 12 years ago. It has been an honor and a dream come true to play for a city with so much passion," guys.
Well, there's Chase Utley out at second base. And his old partner Jimmy Rollins there at short. Ivan De Jesus leading it off for the Reds in the bottom of the 5th. Walking in his first at-bat. 1 ball and no strikes. Mentioned going to break Utley and Rollins. This is their 1,190th game together. Fouled off to the right and out of play. The most ever by a second base shortstop combination. Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell with the Tigers. 1,612 games. And of course, much mentioned about the Dodgers and that great infield. But to put it into perspective, while they were all together for all that time, Russell and Lopes played only 976 games together. 3-1 to DeJesus with Barnhart on deck.
It's very classy gesture by Chase Utley to take out that ad, and I hope we get a picture of him in a Dodger uniform holding that World Series trophy up.
Past a diving Turner into the left field corner. DeJesus on his way to second base with a leadoff stand-up double in the bottom half of the fifth.
Let's take a look at this with the Morongo Casino Resort slow-mo cam. Just gets just by Justin Turner there down in the left field corner. This is where Alex Wood really needs to bear down. He's got a 3-run lead and gave up a couple in his last outing in the 6th inning. Has cruised so far. Leadoff walk to Votto last inning. He pitched around. He's pitched around some other runners with double plays earlier in the game. But here, the man on second, no double play in order.
Ground ball to short. And so DeJesus frozen at second by Rollins, who throws Barnhart out at first. So that's the first out. And Ryan Lamar, as in hitter, promoted from Louisville when Marlon Byrd was traded with the Giants. One for 8 at the big league level. So Lamb's night is done. Dodgers 3-0. 1 out, 1 on in the 5th, and Lamar swings and misses. It's 0-1. So Lamb gives up 3 runs and 5 base hits. Struck out 6 and walked 2. Can't win it unless the Reds mount a comeback here in the 5th. And to this point, Wood has done well. 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks.
The Reds erupted for 10 on the Tigers in 1 inning last night on their so-called working off day.
A makeup game from a rainout back in April. Ryan Matthews continues to warm in the Red bullpen as Wood delivers. On outside, 1-2. Jason Bourgeois on deck. And here comes the 1-2 to Lamar, who asks for time and gets it. Lamar out of Michigan, outside Detroit. "26 years of age, 6'1", about 200 pounds, and down on strikes. Ellis will have to throw to first to complete the strikeout. The 7th of the game.
Pitching around the leadoff double, gets the ground ball to short, and now a little breaking ball down the middle of the plate, just below the swing, trying to come down and in, but got the height right. Made it break sharp enough, so that wasn't quite the sweeping breaking ball, a little more downward movement to that one.
Correction, that was the 4th strikeout of the game for Wood, 2 out. And Jason Bourgeois stepping in, and he is 1 for 2. These 1 ball and no strikes. Dodgers trying to put an end to this 5-game losing streak, and to this point Wood has gotten the job done.
We've seen a few of these all night. It's low borderline strike. Pitch tracks got it for a strike, but it's a ball.
Into right center field. Puig's got a long way to go, and he tracks it down. Yasiel Puig with an outstanding catch, saving a run and ending the inning. Jason Bourgeois robbed of extra bases by Yasiel Puig. We'll go to the 6th. Dodgers maintain a 3-0 lead. Brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by the new movie No Escape, in theaters everywhere tomorrow. Yasiel Puig with an outstanding catch to end the bottom half of the 5th, robbing Jason Bourgeois of extra bases and costing Cincinnati a run, and maintaining Alex Wood's 3-0 shutout as Ryan Matthews now on in relief for the Reds, making his 42nd appearance of the year. Well, his numbers not that good. A 4.85 ERA, and opponents are hitting .329 against him. He'll be facing A.J. Ellis, Kike Hernandez, and Alex Wood. Ellis has walked and flied to right. Takes a fastball upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Into left. DeJesus is there. Ellis flies to left. First out of the 6th. That'll bring up Kike Hernandez. Hernandez 1 for 2. Fly to right and single to right. Lifting his average at .298. He's been around .300 almost all year.
Sure has.
In his last 20 games, hitting .370. And from the sounds of what Mattingly was saying the other day in Houston, that Hernandez is a center fielder till further notice.
A lot of times that somebody goes from utility player to playing every day, the league starts to catch up on him. But really, Kike is the one that is pushing back.
Big rip, 1 and 2.
He's shown a very powerful bat for somebody of his stature. He's very strong, able to turn on the ball inside, doing a good job staying on soft stuff away, and really not showing any major holes that the league can accentuate.
to third. Backhanded by Frazier. 2 out and nobody on in the 6th.
Ryan Matthews has a chance for a 3-up, 3-down inning. Another young man out of California. He's from Sacramento, California, where he was born.
And here's Alex Wood. First time he's coming to bat without anybody on base. Sacrificed in his first plate appearance, tried to sacrifice in his second, and fouled it off, and so that would go down as a strikeout. And Wood, in 41 at-bats, has been struck out 25 times now. Outside. 2-1. So Matthews on in relief of John Lamb. Astros now 9-0 over the Yankees, and Wood with a base hit into center field. As if to say, why do you have me sacrifice when I can hit like that? Well, maybe not.
Since Alex Wood has been here, you never question his intensity, his passion, his desire. His body language is all about business on the mound and now at the plate. And we even saw it when he messed up his sacrifice the at bat before, when he busted the bat onto the ground.
Jimmy Rollins stepping in. Rollins, a double, a walk, a run scored, fly to center. The Dodgers 3-0 with 2 out in the 6th.
Jimmy really crowding the plate here tonight. Kind of a, I think, result of being such a small ballpark. He's looking to pull here.
Inside.
If he was thinking about spraying the ball around with just line drives, then I think he would be back 2-3 inches off the plate where he normally is. But I think this being a good hitter's park and a good place to hit and pull fly balls, Jimmy is really on top of the plate, looking to turn the outside corner into something he could even pull.
Inside, 2-1.
Red's noticing that, so they're trying to pitch him in, so make him pull it foul. They make a mistake out over the plate. That's what Jimmy is looking for.
Jimmy at 224. Laid on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. 12 home runs, 39 runs batted in for Rollins. Puig is on deck. Padres are in Washington tonight, and the Nationals have a 4-2 lead, playing in the top of the 6th. Here's 2-2. Inside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Diamondbacks host the Cardinals later, and the Giants host the Cubs later. 3-2, 2 out. Wood will be off and running. There he goes. Here's a pitch, a fly ball to right field, and that baby is long gone. Jimmy Rollins with his 13th home run of the year, a 2-run shot. He's now driven in 41 on the season, and the Dodgers have a 5-0 lead. There was no doubt about that one.
Here's the Carl's slow-mo replay on this shot, crowding the plate, making this confrontation personal. Jimmy Rollins takes a high fastball after seeing a whole bunch of them inside and plants it in the right field bleachers.
Well, you said he crowded the plate hoping for just that outcome.
Yeah, he was definitely in a different place than we're used to seeing him, and I think that stance and that position in the batter's box was strictly for this pitcher and this ballpark.
So the Dodgers now 5-0. A couple of home runs tonight for the Dodgers. 2-run shot by Turner in the third, and the 2-run shot by Rollins here in the sixth. Five runs and 7 hits for the Dodgers. No runs and 3 hits for the Reds. Well, the dimensions are small and the ball carries here. 422 feet worth on that home run by Jimmy Rollins.
Dodgers offense has been kind of quiet in this losing streak. 9 runs in 5 games. Mark McGwire finally can get a smile on his face there with Justin Turner.
Puig lines to Suarez to end the inning. But Alex Wood, a 2-out single to center, and then Jimmy Rollins with his 13th home run of the year. No doubt about it. Season. And here is Alex Wood. Well, he's been through the lineup twice. Let's see what he does here in the sixth with Suarez, Votto, and Phillips, and a 5-run lead to play with. Suarez takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Suarez hit a home run at Dodger Stadium. About 10 days ago. Outside and low, 2-1. Certainly the Reds are a struggling team, but having said that, how would you appraise the performance of Wood to this point? That's Turner at third, throwing out Suarez at first.
Well, we can definitely say he's pitched around Joey Votto, which is the bat you would say don't let it beat you. One of the walks was with 2 outs, which is not bad, but the other one was the lead-off inning. But he's pitched around those kind of things with some good double play balls and then making some key pitches to people once he has people on base. That Ivan De Jesus Jr. double. And then he pitched around that to keep the 0 intact. And because of that outstanding pitching with a couple men on base, he's got the 5-0 lead still, and it's not a scratch game like 5-2 or 5-3.
Joey Votto has walked twice tonight, and he takes a strike. 0-1. So through 5 1/3, no runs and 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. Wood deals a strike. It is 0-2. As you mentioned, the Dodgers averaging on this road trip to this point tonight 1.8 runs per game. Outscored 19-9 by the A's and the Astros combined. Outhit 40-26. But tonight, 5 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers, no runs, 3 hits for the Reds. And Votto takes inside. 2-2.
Wow, what a great take by Joey Votto. That ball was just inside.
.339 hitter against the Dodgers in his career in 48 games. 10 home runs, 36 runs batted in, and .339. Votto since the All-Star break at .393, the #1 average in Major League Baseball. And his on-base percentage since the All-Star break looks like a typo. .567. Only David Wright has done more damage to the Dodgers among active players. Dodgers will get to see Goldschmidt a couple of times yet. Chris Hatcher is now warming up in the Dodger bullpen. So Wood at 86 pitches may be nearing an end. 3-2 to Votto, who has walked twice tonight, and this time he grounds slowly to second base. They finally get him. 2 gone.
2 walks and a ground out to second. Alex Wood has Chris Hatcher working behind him. He was up there at the beginning of the inning, I think, just in case Suarez gets a hit, and then Votto, who he's had trouble throwing strikes to, could have walked, and all of a sudden you might want a righty on the mound for this guy up at the plate, Brandon Phillips. But Phillips now hitting with 2 out, nobody on, no threat to the Dodger lead.
This is Wood's 5th start with the Dodgers. And Phillips whacks a base hit into right center. Backhanded by Puig. And Phillips knows not to run on Puig's arm.
Yasiel goes over in the gap, and as soon as it hits his glove, Brandon Phillips is pulling up at first base. There's no decision around the league to run on that arm. Proceed at your own risk.
And so with 2 out, Frazier coming up. Todd Frazier has doubled and taken a call 3rd strike. And now Don Mattingly's coming out. And this could be the end of the line for Wood. A long, slow walk suggesting that Wood's night is over. And if it is, he can only win this game and can't lose it.
You watch Alex Wood in this year's statistics. On the 3rd time around in the order, his batting average goes up and up and up. And Don Mattingly knows that. And then also, once you get by about 75 pitches, it looks like Alex Wood was fighting to stay in there, but Don Mattingly had made his decision.
And so Wood leaves the game in his best performance as a Dodger. So the Dodgers lead it 5-0. 1 runner on, 2 men out, bottom of the 6th, coming back right after this. for the Dodgers as Wood goes 5 2/3. He struck out 4 and walked 3. Dodgers, of course, had Hatcher out in the 10th inning in Houston on Sunday and gave up the walk-off home run to Jason Castro. Facing now Todd Frazier with 2 out. The ball inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. So Wood can win his 2nd game with the Dodgers. Now it's up to the bullpen. Hatcher missing outside, 2-0.
Alex Wood over there on the bench has a 4-hit shutout going, but the pitch count was starting to get up there a little bit, and I really just think this is about matchups, and statistically 3rd time around in the order the league starts to hit better on him, and Don Mattingly wanting to give the bullpen, which has struggled, a little more rope to play with.
Well, they got 5 runs of rope to play with.
Exactly. So if your bullpen's been struggling, you don't always want to bring the components in the middle of big jams. You want to give them some breathing room, and sometimes a bullpen that is struggling, they kind of set the table themselves but have time to battle out of it, but they can't battle out of inherited runners as much.
Dodgers made a roster move, by the way, today. Yimi Garcia set out Juan Nicasio off the disabled list, and Frazier fouls it off to the right.
Chris Hatcher, since coming off the DL, has really thrown the ball well. I know he got the loss in the last game, the home run, but that was the first hit he had given up since coming off the DL. And he is a completely different pitcher as far as execution since returning to the big leagues. Hitting his spots, split and the slider are much sharper.
2-2. Low and outside, 3-2.
Adrian Gonzalez going to play behind Brandon Phillips over there.
Jade Bruce on deck. Hatcher on 3-2. Hard ground ball past Turner, off the side wall. On his way to 3rd is Phillips. He's on his way home. Throw to the plate, and he is safe. It kicks past Ellis. Backed up by Hatcher. A double for Frazier, and the Reds are on the board. It's 5-1.
Three-two slider, pretty good pitch. Hard hit ground ball by Justin Turner. Hits umpire Chris Guccione at 3rd, which slows it down and slows down the carom. Hits Justin Turner's glove, hits Guccione's leg, and then the plate, kind of that odd hop for catcher A.J. Ellis. It's not the short hop and it's not a long hop, it's that between hop, and that is a very tough one to read when you have to get that high bounce and get the glove down quickly to tag the runner.
So Mattingly wanted Hatcher to get Frazier, couldn't do that, so he's going to make another pitching move, and it's going to be J.P. Howell when we come back. Alex Wood retired the first two batters of the sixth. And after Phillips singled to right, Mattingly removed him from the game, brought Chris Hatcher in to face Todd Frazier, who promptly doubled into left, scoring Phillips. So it's 5-1. Now you can close the book on Alex Wood. 1 run and 4 hits in 6. Make that 5 2/3 innings. And J.P. Howell, lefty against lefty. Matchup situation here in the 6th inning. As Bruce swings and misses, it's 0-1.
Coming out of the bullpen, not breathing fire, but bringing the finesse.
Bruce 0 for 2 is struck out and popped to short. 0-1. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You see the thin difference between Jay Bruce facing lefties and righties, but the power side, it's the righties, but that's who he faces more often.
He hits about 235 from either side. One ball and 2 strikes to Jay Bruce. Ivan DeJesus on deck. Dodgers 5-1. That's Frazier leading from second. And here comes the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It might be a thin difference for Jay Bruce on what he hits against righties and lefties, but for J.P. Howell, it's a big difference. Lefties are only hitting 235 off of him, where right-handers are hitting 303. So that was the matchup that Don Mattingly was looking for and watching his own arm.
And still 3 more innings after this one. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 5-1 Dodgers. A run into the bottom of the 6th. Bruce fouls it back.
That's what's so nice for the Dodgers when Zach Greinke and Clayton Kershaw pitch, because usually the bridge to Kenley Jansen is sometimes no innings, sometimes only 1 inning. What we found with starters 3, 4, and 5 is usually the bridge has to span 2 to 3 innings.
2-2 with 2 out. The pitch to Jay Bruce. Backhanded by Gonzalez, beats Bruce to the bag, and the inning is over. The Reds come up with a run on 2 hits and leave 1. We'll go to the 7th. In fact, Gonzalez will lead it off for the Dodgers, to be followed by Turner and Van Slyke.
Well documented the recent bullpen struggles for the Los Angeles Dodgers. In Oakland, they had a team meeting on the field at Oakland Coliseum. They took it a step further last night. The entire bullpen had dinner together. It was basically because Jim Johnson had called bullpen coach Chuck Krim and said, let's get the entire bullpen together and talk about what's going on with us, obviously talking about what they could do better. And Chuck Krim was telling me, obviously, guys, they know exactly what needs to be done, just trying to figure out how to get there.
And they ate at a pricey steak joint. Now let's see if their good feeding will provide a fine finish. Adrian Gonzalez has doubled, scored a run, hit by a pitch, and flied to left. Ryan Matthews in his second inning of relief. Dodgers 5-1. 1 ball, no strikes. Rollins and Puig began the game with doubles, so the Dodgers had a 1-0 lead after 1. A 2-run home run for Turner in the third, and a 2-run home run for Rollins in the sixth. Cincinnati comes back with 1 in the bottom half of the sixth, and so as we begin the seventh, it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Adrian Gonzalez at .289 on the year with 24 home runs, 73 runs batted in. 2-2. Dodgers and Reds back at it tomorrow, and we'll be on the air. First pitch about 4 o'clock. Brett Anderson and David Holmberg. Thursday getaway day. First pitch at 9:30 in the morning Pacific time, 9:35 to be precise. Zach Greinke and Anthony DeSclafani. And then weekend series with the Cubs next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Dodgers and the Giants at Dodger Stadium. After tonight, 38 games left, and Gonzalez is down on strikes. Greinke to pitch Thursday. You know, Greinke and Kershaw since 2013. The Dodgers have had 59 series in which Kershaw and Greinke both started. And when the Dodgers lost on Sunday, it was just the third time in 3 years where the Dodgers had lost, in fact, been swept in a series with both Kershaw and Greinke going.
They have been very consistent and very dominant. They're going to be in the top 5 guys for Cy Young Award race this year. They're going to be right there in the top 5.
We were talking about it the other day. Their votes may get split. You've got DeGrom, who has been great.
Justin Turner dropped the bat.
Tucker Barnhart to catch it. Where'd that come from? Meanwhile, it's 0-2 to Turner. So Matthews and Barnhart not on the same page.
The 3 of them aren't.
And Turner's not real pleased about the turn of events either. One out, nobody on in the 7th. One ball and 2 strikes.
You don't usually see the umpire and the hitter get out of rhythm of when the pitch can come.
How about the catcher?
Yeah, Justin's up there almost trying to hold him up to get in position.
Chopper to third. Frazier to Votto. There's 2 out. First base umpire Jeff Nelson. He's the crew chief.
Whatever the difference was, Justin didn't bark at him and he let it go. A lot of times you'll see hitters with less discipline after making an out and having problems at the plate with the umpire. They might turn and take out some of their anger at them, and then you lose them for the game.
Corey Blazer, the home plate umpire, vacation reliever. He's a young guy, 33 from Denver, and Now here is Ethier pinch hitting for Van Slyke. Now that the lefty, Lamb, is out of the game, Ethier is in. The Reds have only one left-handed reliever in their bullpen, and that's Aroldis Chapman. So Ethier will take over for Van Slyke.
That is some lefty in their bullpen.
Yeah. He's a lefty with an asterisk.
Yeah. Anybody who throws over 100, first thing should be just he throws over 100 consistently, and he's left-handed.
And has that enormous wingspan.
It's like the nasty boys that were here in Cincinnati with Rob Dibble and Norm Charlton and Randy Myers. That was some heat coming out of the bullpen.
On 2-1, Ethier takes a strike. 2-2.
Wasn't as white hot as Chapman, but it was
then again, nobody is.
No, not many ever. Maybe J.R. Richards and Nolan Ryan at time. Barely got there.
On 2-2. Rolled to second. Phillips has it. Throws out Ethier, and that's that. So the Dodgers go quietly in the 7th. After 6.5. They're leading the Reds 5-1. So we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the Dodgers are up 5-1. They've out hit the Reds 7-5. And J.P. Howell facing Ivan DeJesus, who has doubled and walked. One-time Dodger takes outside and is 1-1. Alex Wood goes 5 2/3, a run and 4 base hits, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. Hatcher faced a batter, gave up a hit, and Howell got out of the mess by getting Jay Bruce to ground out in the 6th. So DeJesus, Barnhart, and a pinch hitter for the Reds in the bottom half of the 7th inning. DeJesus takes inside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the Dodgers trying to burdened themselves with this 5-game losing streak, 8 straight on the road. The Dodgers are a game under 500 since the All-Star break. And after tonight, 38 games left. Their lead over the Giants at the moment, a game and a half. Howell misses low. It's 3-2.
There'll be a lot of focus on these next few innings by the bullpen, including Kenley Jansen if he ends up in the game, because this has really been the vulnerable part of the Dodger roster. The defense has been stellar. It's second in the big leagues to the Baltimore Orioles with only 54 errors. The offense has been sporadic, but there have been days when the offense has been enough if the bullpen would have finished it off, where they've handed them a 2-1 lead or a 3-1 lead, and the bullpen couldn't finish it off.
Dodger bullpen ERA is 4.20. That's the highest it has been all year, ranking 13th in the league. The starters, they've held up their end of the bargain, a 3.22 ERA, second lowest ERA. Lined into left field for a base hit. A leadoff single for DeJesus in the bottom of the 7th.
Now, I know the Dodgers didn't score last inning in the top of the 7th, but it really feels like a shutdown inning for J.P. Howell. The Reds got 1, and now they go back out there with a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 7th, 9 outs to get to secure this game, and it just feels like the Dodgers just took the lead, and now this is the shutdown inning.
If for no other reason, to regain some confidence out of that bullpen group. As Alana mentioned, they had a meeting on Sunday. They had a group dinner last night. Now Tucker Barnhart takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Those meetings, those dinners, they help, but what really helps is you go out there and you execute. But the ability to execute and to be emotionally sound and concentrate and have confidence out there, that group effort of being together and getting rid of that here we go again feeling, and knowing you're not out there alone, that you're doing this for a greater cause for the whole group, it can help.
0-2 to Tucker Barnhart, who's bounced to short twice.
The other thing I'll tell you can help as you have a struggling staff or a struggling few pitchers is when the veteran infielders come in and talk to you. All of a sudden you give up that hit or something happens and they come in, come on, get us a ground ball, get them to hit it to me, I'll pick you up.
0-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. With Devin Mesoraco out for the year with the hip, it has been Barnhart who has done a lot of the work, along with Brian Pena behind the plate.
Block right there, keeping the runner first base. Now you get the ground ball, you get the double play. Key ingredient to an inning that goes overlooked.
Wood induced 2 double plays when he was in there. Another block in the dirt by A.J. Ellis.
J.P. Howell really making an effort to keep the ball down, as you can see from both those balls in the dirt. When he has struggled with his off-speed stuff, it's because it's been elevated, and really making a concerted effort to make it the pitch down. He's just going to have to get it up slightly, at least to get it to ankle high to get it offered at.
2-2, and here comes the pitch. Do it again. So J.P. Howell trying to get through the 7th inning. Third Dodger pitcher of the night.
All you got to do is watch him and you know what's going on. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He'll tell you how bad he wants the hitter. He'll tell you how big the out was.
And now Howell's 19th pitch. Foul ball. J.P. Howell's 49th appearance. An ERA of 1.53. But opponents are hitting .271 against him. Skip Schumacher in the on-deck circle to pinch hit. top of the order again with Jason Bourgeois, the 2-2. Grounded to short. Rollins, Utley, Gonzalez. That's a third double play induced by Dodger pitching tonight. 2 out and nobody on.
J.P. Howell finally gets his changeup down enough, but high enough so it's offered at, and that double play turned by that combo. It happened a lot in red. Now it's happening in blue, and that double play wouldn't have happened without the man behind the plate, A.J. Ellis, with all those great blocks during that time when J.P. was trying to keep his changeup down, kept the double play in order.
So former teammates now facing one another. J.P. Howell and Skip Schumacher. Sitting outside and high, 1 ball and no strikes. Schumacher at 214. No home runs and 12 runs batted in. It's been a couple of years since Schumacher and Punto were at Dodger clubhouse. And how important they were down the stretch. Gary Hairston Jr., Michael Young. One ball, 1 strike to Schumacher. Grounded to third. Turner has it and gets him. No runs, a hit, nobody left. We'll go to the 8th. 5-1 Dodgers. Alert. This summer, the power is in your hands. FlexAlert.org. And by the Acura It's That Kind of Summer event. So here's Sam LeCure making but his 3rd appearance. When right, he's a good hard throwing right-hander. Retired 11 of 12 batters in 2 hitless appearances since coming back from Louisville. And he will be facing Chase Utley, A.J. Ellis, and Kike Hernandez as we head to the 8th inning. Dodgers this year, when leading after 7, are 54-6. So if they can get 6 more outs out of Cincinnati, the 5-game losing streak will at long last come to an end. Tomorrow, Brett Anderson and David Holmberg. Thursday, Zach Greinke and Anthony DeSclafani. Utley fouls it off to the left, 0-1. An announced crowd of 22,783. Utley has struck out twice and bounced to third. And he takes under the knees. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Nationals routing the Padres 8-2 in the 6th inning at Nationals Park. Mets 6-5 over the Phillies, heading to the 7th inning in Philadelphia. Through the middle, backhanded by Phillips. The Gold Glove winner gets Utley by a step. Now a look at the DraftKings game summary tonight. Justin Turner and Jimmy Rollins with home runs, and Alex Wood, his best performance as a Dodger, 5 2/3, a run and 4 hits, struck out 4, walked 3, 88 pitches, and 50 of them were for strikes. So as they are wont to say on such occasions, he has given the Dodgers a chance to win. And he did well tonight. A.J. Ellis takes a strike, 0-1.
The 2 stoppers came first, and they weren't able to stop the losing streak, but it wasn't really their fault. Greinke and Kershaw, and then all of a sudden Alex Wood had a lot thrust onto his shoulders. Came through. He has never been one to back down from big games. In his young career, whenever he's gone up against other aces, guys with much bigger resumes than him, he has shown very well.
Brett Anderson tomorrow, Greinke on Thursday. And a fly ball to right field. Bruce heading on back. Second out of the 8th. Matt Latos not with the club. He was in Glendale. Going to pitch on Saturday against the Cubs at Dodger Stadium.
Kind of served 2 purposes. Matt, when he left here, had a few interviews where he talked about his time with the Reds that didn't really go over with a lot of Reds management and players. So not only did he get his work in Arizona, but he wasn't then
he didn't have to come here.
It wasn't a fire stick here with the media getting interviewed and having to hang out at the ballpark.
Well, to be charitable, he did not leave Cincinnati on the best of terms. So Latos will pitch Saturday against the Cubs. Hernandez with a grounder to third, and Todd Frazier throws him out, and LeCure a 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be the top of the order for Cincinnati. Bourgeois, Suarez, and Votto. 5-1 Dodgers. Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo with the hashtag SNLA Data Strong Fan for a chance to be shown in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Juan Nicasio, fresh off the disabled list. Yimi Garcia sent out to make room for him. And for Nicasio, last time he pitched for the Dodgers was August the 9th. Missed a dozen games with a left abdominal strain. So here he is. And he will be facing Bourgeois, Suarez, and Votto.
One of the better ERAs in the Dodger bullpen with Kenley Jansen, J.P. Howell, and then I think it goes to Juan, and so he's going to get thrown right back in the fire. Don Mattingly said in his media scrum, make no bones about it, we're not going to ease him back into this. We need him to come out and to perform. There are no better alternatives.
Again, the Dodger bullpen trying to regain its sea legs. It's been stormy waters now. Last 2 months. No balls and a strike. Bourgeois taking over in center field. What with the injury to Billy Hamilton. He's on the DL, shoulder. So the hard-throwing right-hander Juan Nicasio. Slow chopper. In comes Turner. Bourgeois runs well. What a play by Gonzalez, able to keep his foot on the bag. Stretching up the right field line. Terrific play turned in by Gonzalez, saving Justin Turner's bacon.
Justin Turner ranging to his left to square his feet up and wrong foot throw this, and it's up the line, and Adrian Gonzalez picking the ball off the dirt, keeping the foot on, balance and eyes. Justin Turner makes the play there, but Adrian saves the day.
Bourgeois runs very well. Turner on the slow roller had to rush the throw. And at the receiving end, Adrian Gonzalez, he of the 4 Gold Gloves. And now Suarez with a fly ball routinely hit to right, quickly 2 out.
We started the broadcast tonight talking about, for the Dodgers to break this losing streak, it wouldn't be just one department. The whole team was going to have to do it. The starting pitcher was going to have to get off to a good start. The defense was going to have to play well as they continue for the year. No errors tonight in that stellar play by Adrian Gonzalez. Then the offense is going to have to start producing. They've gotten 5 so far, and now it's up to the bullpen.
Joey Votto takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
The last department's really the only one that needs to function, because everybody else has done their job.
One ball, 1 strike. The play by Gonzalez changes the entire dynamic of the inning. If he's unable to keep his foot on the bag, suddenly the Reds have a leadoff runner, and they may start feeling pretty good about themselves, and the Dodgers naturally go, uh-oh, here we go again. But instead, a terrific play by Gonzalez. And now, 2 out and nobody on.
Porous defense can be the silent assassin to a team and really hurt you. I mean, we saw it with the double play last inning, that A.J. Ellis's good blocks with balls in the dirt with J.P. Howell on the mound set up, then kept the double play in order, and then the good defense turned it. And you're right here, the good pitch, ground ball, and Adrian makes sure the out is recorded.
It's been a while since the Dodgers collectively could really feel good about the bullpen. I mean, you are what your record says you are and what your numbers say you are, and it's been a rough patch, and to get through to this point, so far so good. Hal goes an inning in the 3rd, no runs and a hit. And now here's Nicasio trying to get through the 8th. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Votto walks for the 3rd time tonight.
He's a really hard guy to get to chase a pitch. A lot of hitters, you can throw something that looks like a strike, ends up a ball, and you get them to swing. Votto just is not that person. He is a rare breed. He has one of the best eyes, maybe all time, the way he can see the borderline pitch and not swing at it.
Eighth inning in the Bronx. Astros 15-0. Boy, are they hot. Brandon Phillips 1 for 3, scored the Reds' only run. 2-out single to right in the 6th inning. And he lines one into center field for a base hit. First and second and 2 out. Luis Avilan is now beginning to warm in the Dodger bullpen. Frazier coming up, and the lefty Jay Bruce is on deck.
Avilan getting ready for the next hitter. Probably get a delay here of some sort because he's just getting up. Here comes Rick Honeycutt. There is no way that if Frazier got a hit on the first pitch that Avilan would be ready. So this has got to be give the bullpen some time. Discuss Frazier, but stay as long as you can to get your lefty ready.
Alex Wood retired the first 2 batters in the 6th inning, and Phillips would single to right. Mattingly would come and get him. Frazier would double to left and score Phillips. So that was a 2-out rally, and here in the 8th inning, Nicasio gets the first 2 batters. Bourgeois grounds to third in the terrific play by Gonzalez. Suarez would fly to right, but then the 2-out walk to Votto, the single by Phillips, and if Frazier gets on, the tying run comes to the plate. The Indiana Jones rickety bridge to the other side. Frazier's got 2 doubles tonight and an RBI. 5-1 Dodgers, 2 out, 2 on in the 8th. Inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Todd Frazier, 29 home runs, 75 runs batted in. Low and outside, 2-0. So the lefty Jay Bruce on deck. Three balls and no strikes. And Nicasio's a ball away from loading the bases.
It can happen so fast. Get the walk to Votto, get the base hit to Phillips, and now the 3-0 count. And really, the second pitch was borderline. Pitch tracks had it as a strike, but in some ways you train umpires that you can command the ball.
3 balls, no strikes. A 4-pitch walk and the bases are loaded.
Well, the visit from Rick Honeycutt was the delay for the bullpen, and I think we're going to see Don Mattingly bring the lefty in. He did it for Bruce with J.P. Howell, and now you got a righty on the mound. I think you're going to get the same scenario.
Well, Nicasio, left-handed hitters are hitting .339, so he gots to go. So here comes Mattingly. He's going to get Nicasio out, bring Avilan in. He'll be facing Jay Bruce, who will be the tying run at the plate when we come back.
in there to put out the fire for the Dodgers. The second lefty that Don Mattingly has brought in this game to face Jay Bruce. And there is no bigger situation in this game when the tying run comes to the plate.
And this has been an emotionally trying 5-game losing streak, all on the road. You've had 2 walk-off losses and a no-hitter. So now a 5-1 lead. Very much on the ropes. Jay Bruce 0 for 3 tonight. Bruce on the year, 18 home runs, 69 runs batted in. 4 career grand slams. And the Dodgers team confidence certainly wobbly at this moment as Bruce takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Chris Guccione, the third base umpire. One ball, no strikes, bases loaded, 2 out, bottom of the 8th. Bruce whacks it foul toward the red dugout. That is 1-1.
1 out can be so huge for the confidence of a whole bullpen. And Luis Avilan is carrying that burden right now.
It's not just the bullpen now, it's the entire team. Lost 8 straight on the road. 5-game losing streak here on the road. The 1-1 swing and a miss, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Sinker down and in. It's a ball, but it starts to look like a strike. It's got some pretty good depth right there. You watch A.J. Ellis's glove have to track it down there.
Avilan has allowed 4 runs in 5 innings in 6 games as a Dodger. Ahead of Bruce, 1-2. Just inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Very tenuous on the mound, and they are not taking anything for granted. Kenley Jansen is up in the bullpen. Got his first 4-out save of the season the other day. Don Mattingly with all his lieutenants around him. Ron Renicky, Tim Wallach, Mark McGuire, and just out of the shot, Rick Honeycutt.
Jansen with a blown save on Sunday. 2-2, 2 out, bases loaded. Now Avilan steps off the rubber.
2-2, you can get an out at any base. 3-2, the runners will be moving. All of a sudden, the ball has to go to first base. It's a big pitch.
Here it comes. We'll do it again.
So many things can happen in 3-2 that don't happen 2-2. The different force outs that you have. If you happen to give up a hit, the runner from second scores for sure. If you give up a double, the runner from first has a chance of scoring. That's why 2-2 is called the action pitch.
All those moving parts with the bases loaded. Honeycutt talking to Chuck Krim. Making sure Jansen is ready if need be here in the 8th. The 2-2 to Jay Bruce. Got him! Pulled the string and the inning is over, and the Reds leave the bases loaded. And the Dodgers can exhale an enormous sigh of relief. No runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 left. We go to the 9th. Dodgers 5 and the Reds 1. top tier play of the game. Adrian Gonzalez with a terrific play. It was Justin Turner with the errant throw. It would get Suarez at first. That would change the dynamic of the 6th inning. As we go to the 9th, the Reds in the 8th loaded the bases with 2 out and nobody on. Avalon gets out of the inning. And here's Pedro Villarreal. Making his 23rd appearance. And he'll be facing Carl Crawford, who is pinch hitting. Crawford, fresh off a weekend homecoming in Houston. Rollins and Puig to follow. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers 5-1. Rollins takes outside 2-1. So Carl Crawford, in his last 12 games, hitting .357. And he pops it up into short right center, and that's Jason Bourgeois.
After such a tough inning, last inning for the Dodgers on defense, Carl Crawford pinch hitting, but in some ways the Dodgers are just exhaling from the threat the Reds put on them in the 8th.
Well, Nicasio retired the first 2 batters. Walked Votto. Phillips singled. Frazier walked. And then with the bases loaded, 2 out, Avalon came in, lefty against lefty, and he gets Bruce to strike out swinging. Jimmy Rollins, 1 ball and no strikes. Rollins has doubled and homered. Scored 2, knocked in 2. He's also walked and flied to center. But Jimmy's been locked in tonight. Rollins in the 7th inning. 6th inning, 422 feet.
He's looking for a fastball, and he was looking for it almost anywhere, inside, middle, or away, and he thought he was going to pull it right on top of the plate.
And this time, right to first, bobbled by Votto, but Villarreal is there. 2 gone. Follow the Dodgers all season with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Now Puig, who has doubled, driven in a run, made a terrific catch tonight as well. So he's had a solid game.
Anything hit to right field he's caught, or anything hit out there on a bounce, he has shut down the base runners.
Puig with an 8-game hitting streak now. And it's no balls, 2 strikes. In the bottom of the 9th, DeJesus, Barnhart, and a pinch hitter. Kenley Jansen had been warming. Dodgers trying to end this torturous 5-game losing streak.
Yasiel has gotten more comfortable with his batting stance and got some success. Boy, you really see the body language change in and around the batter's box.
Into center field, well hit. Bourgeois heading back and on the warning track. We'll track it down, and that'll end the inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. The Dodgers 3 outs away from putting an end to a 5-game losing streak. They lead the Reds 5-1. Game and the weight of that 5-game losing streak. He's got Kenley Jansen in with a 4-run lead. Of course, Kenley blew a save in Houston on Sunday, but now it is Mattingly counting on his closer. You know, we mentioned that there are losing streaks, and then there are losing streaks, and in this 5-game road trip, lost all 5, and 3 of the 5 had 2 walk-off losses and a no-hitter. So this is 5 with an asterisk, which is why Jansen is out there now. Ivan De Jesus will lead it off. Tucker Barnhart is on deck. And then they've got one of 2 pinch hitters to deal with. Either Brian Pena or Brennan Bosch. De Jesus, a single, a double, and a walk tonight against his former team. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Barnhart is on deck, 0 for 3. He's bounced to short all 3 times. Jansen misses high, 2-1.
There are times when you bring your closer into non-save situations just to get some work. This is not one of those occasions. This is about as serious as it gets for the Dodgers season this year. 1-run lead or 4-run lead or 7-run lead. They want to finish this one off. They need to find greener pastures.
Jansen falls behind 3-1. Cubs and Giants get underway in about 5 minutes at AT&T Park. Game and a half in front of San Francisco. After tonight, 38 games left. Into right. Puig is there. First out of the bottom of the ninth. As the Giants get ready to play, Arrieta against Kane. Game and a half separate the two rivals. Diamondbacks and Padres lurking off in the shadows. Cardinals scored 4 in the first in Phoenix and lead Arizona. Diamondbacks coming up to bat in the bottom half of the inning.
Kenley Jansen with 6 pitches this inning right here. The great thing about the bullpen and how well it's done to this point, even though with the scary 8th, all the pitch counts were in order.
Pop foul off to the left. Turner is running out of room and running into the railing.
With no off day to get home to Los Angeles, and the Cubs will be waiting. Chris Hatcher only threw 6 pitches tonight. He'll be ready again tomorrow. J.P. Howell with the highest pitch count at 23, but that's under the 25 pitch mark. If you absolutely need him tomorrow, he should be ready. Juan Nicasio only threw 15. He'll be fine. And Avilan with that big strikeout to end the 8th only threw 6.
And Thursday is a day game, so there's a quick turnaround there. Barnhart is down on strikes, and they're 2 out.
Now this pitch puts them 1 out away from shaking hands on the field instead of encouraging each other in the locker room after a loss. That is something that the Dodgers have not done in a while, and they need.
So here's Brian Pena with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Fastball outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Pena 277, no home runs and 13 runs batted in. Hitting .323 at home here this year. Reds down to their final out. The Dodgers lead 5-1. Pena with a fly ball to right and deep and just foul. That would have been his first home run of the year.
I know it's a 4-run lead, but Kenley Jansen needs that ball to go foul. And gets it to go foul.
A ball, a strike, and 2 out. Jansen has given up 5 home runs this year. The 1-1. Grounded to the right side. Utley from the outfield grass picks it up, throws him out, and the 5-game losing streak is over. Kenley Jansen seals the deal as the Dodgers beat the Reds tonight 5-1. For the Dodgers, 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They left 6 men on base. And for the Reds, 1 run, 7 hits, no errors. They left 8. Alex Wood gets the win. Is second with the Dodgers, and he is the Lexus player of the game. Having gone 5 2/3, gave up 1 run, 4 hits, struck out 4, walked 3, 88 pitches, 50 of them for strikes, and he puts an end to the losing streak. Dodgers improved their record to 68-56, and now 38 games remain in the regular season.